to come, and it's men's doubles. It features the number 1 and 2 seeds and the winners from the last 2 years. The world number 1s against the world champions. You couldn't script it any better, could you? It should be a terrific match. The crowd wait in anticipation because it is the number 1 seeds Marcus Fernaldi Gideon and Kevin Sanjaya Sukamuljo of Indonesia are up against the reigning world champions Li Junhui and Liu Chen from China. Well, when we look at the race to Guangzhou standings at the moment, it's not surprising that Gideon and Sukamuljo are at the top of the list. They've only played 5 tournaments, but they've won 4 titles as far as qualifying events are concerned. Their opponents of today are currently at number 14 on that ranking list, but if they win, they will shoot up 11 places to number 3. It's staggering that 6 of the top pairs on that list that we're looking at the moment lost in the first round. But we should remember that the race to Guangzhou is an accumulation of points. So some of the pairs on that list have been playing many tournaments, up to 10 or 11. So other pairs who have played much fewer, obviously further down the list at the moment. So as far as the men's doubles draw is concerned, 5 different nations involved at quarterfinal stage, but staggeringly only 2 seeds, and they're obviously the number 1 and 2 seeds. Through to the semi-final was the World Championship bronze medalist Chen Hongling and Wang Qilin. They were in the bottom half of the draw. And what a tournament He Jiting and Tang Qiang had, all the way through to the semi-final, having beaten in the first round Inouye and Kaneko, who were beaten in the final a year ago. So a fantastic tournament by the Chinese youngsters, who are even younger, I have to say, than the world champions, who are both 23 years of age. So the world number 1s, Marcus Fernaldi Gideon and Kevin Sanjaya Sukamuljo. Won the title last year, having lost in the first round the first time that they played this tournament back in 2015. So the 3rd appearance as a pair. So the number 2 seeds, the newly crowned world champions, Li Junhui and Liu Chen, won this title 2 years ago, beating Kim Ji-jung and Go Sung-kyung in the final. They were the number 1 seeds a year ago, this Chinese combination, but they withdrew before the start of the tournament. So Christian Johannesson of Denmark will be the umpire for our last final of the day. And look how Li Junhui towers above everyone. Tall, tall man. This is the 9th meeting between the 2 pairs. And if you're the World Championship winning pairs fan, you'll find that a little ominous, because they played 8 times previously, and Gideon and Sukamuljo have won the last 7. So it was only the first time that these 2 pairs met that Li Junhui and Liu Chen actually managed to beat Gideon and Sukamuljo. So to Marcus Fernaldi Gideon, the oldest man on court at the age of 27, born in Jakarta. Had a highly successful partnership initially with Marcus Kido, but since he's teamed up with SUKAMULJO, they've become world #1s, and this week enjoying their 63rd week as world #1s. Kevin Sanjaya SUKAMULJO turned 23 last month, born in Banyuwangi, and they of course are trying to defend the title. Last pair to do that was Lee Yong-dae and Yu Young-sung in 2014 and 15. Prior to that it was Cha Yun and Fu Haifeng in 2010 and 11. But they've had to work hard, haven't they? The last 2 rounds, Gideon and SUKAMULJO, 3 games against Yilmaz and Robin Tabelin of the Netherlands in the semi-final yesterday against He Jiting and Tan Chiang. Again, that was a thriller, and if you were with us yesterday, I hope you enjoyed that match as much as I did. So to the #2 seeds, Lee Junhui, like his partner, is 23 years of age, and they too have been world #1s, a total of 10 weeks as world #1s. And as I say, won this title 2 years ago. This their 4th final this year. And the 2 titles they have won sounds awfully similar to Carolina Marin, except of course they won the Asian Championships instead of the European Championships and the world title. But they at least have been part this week in a World Tour tournament final. That was the Indonesian Masters, a Super 500 event. They had a walkover in the second round against the 2013 winners, former world champions Hassan and Setiawan, and then a thrilling quarter-final against the Asian Games silver medalists Alfian and Ardianto. World Championship bronze medalists yesterday in the semi-final, but it was pretty straightforward, that semi-final victory. So there is Christian Johannesson, who I was telling you was our umpire, our service judge from the host nation. And it's interesting, Steen, just before play gets underway, it's the 5th time on the new HSBC BWF World Tour that the men's doubles final features the #1 against the #2 seeds.
Yeah. Some consistent men's doubles.
Ladies and gentlemen, on my right, Marcus Fernaldi Gideon and Kevin Sanjaya SUKAMULJO, Indonesia. And on my left, Lee Yunhui, Liu Yuchen, China. Marcus Fernaldi Gideon to serve, to Liu Yuchen. Level, play.
So the world #1's nearest to us against
Fault
the world
receiver.
champions.
1 love.
Fault receiver, my goodness me.
Calls that is very often incorrect when you watch it in slow afterwards, frame by frame.
Steve, before we really get into the match, I just want to emphasise the point I was trying to make about this being the 5th time this year that a World Tour event has featured the #1 and 2 seeds in the men's doubles. Over the 11 years of the Super Series, it only happened a total of 18 times. So it rarely happened at Super Series level, but it's happening a lot more nowadays.
Yeah, so the question is, of course, does it have anything to do with the World Tour structure? It's hard to say.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, it probably would have been different pairings and different levels of the World Tour, so it just seems that at least gets the hierarchy a little bit
all.
Better done here. World Tour.
Service over. 3-2. Left.
Way forward to the net, and it was a quick serve, but he was so tall he was able to intercept it. Now I know you and I have discussed throughout this tournament about the slow conditions and the slow shuttles, and the fact that the Indonesians like to play such a fast game, all-out attack. They won't be able to penetrate with their attacking play in the same way as they do in some stadium around the world. But the first couple of rallies, I've seen some casual lifts from Lee Jun-Hui and Liu Chen. I'm not convinced that just giving away the attack is the way they should be playing, even if their opponents can't get through the whole time.
But it's it's going to be interesting to see. We saw Okuhara in the previous final, and she looked a spent force in the third game. Yeah. These pairs have been playing just as much, and have experienced mental downs, but a lot of ups as well. So how does that affect them? There hasn't been a whole lot of time since the Asian Games concluded.
Service over. 5-6.
And I said these two were tall athletes, just to emphasize it. Lee Jun-Hui is 195, which is 6'5". Liu Chen, 193, which is 6'4".
Service over.
But I would have thought, Steen, that despite the fact that the Indonesians have won the last 7 times these two pairs have met, I would have thought that these conditions was as good a chance as any for the Japanese pair to, for the Chinese pair to break that run.
But the thing is that it also betters the Indonesians' defense. Yeah. So they might also be able to withstand 1 or 2 shots extra from these two players here. And of course they need to get on the attack in the first place.
Yeah.
So there's also some strategical issues that
I'm surprised by the world champions' tactics so far.
Yeah, I don't think there has been any tactics so far.
They're just lifting.
Yeah. And I mean, that's okay, but you've got to have a purpose with lifting. You've got to figure out a way how to finish the rallies, unless you simply hope that you can wear your opponents down. But I mean, it's not like Kevin and Gideon hasn't been exposed to this kind of tactics before.
Service over. 6-10.
So the thing is that I would expect them to have a plan for what are we doing if they're just lifting. I mean, it's not especially a surprise for them, but right now they're penetrating as easily as ever.
11-6.
Yeah, and only 6 minutes played for an 11-6 lead in the opening game. So we look at Chu next to his two players.
He should have a small platform in the green when he was coaching.
20 seconds. 20 seconds.
Yes, a small section of the crowd, quite clearly Indonesian fans.
11-6. Play.
Well, this is exactly what the Indonesians want. And so I'm bemused by it, quite frankly. I just don't understand it.
They think it's really fun, and if this continues, then in a very short while, Kevin will deliberately. I don't think he managed to do it there. He couldn't. He simply couldn't do it quickly enough. Liu Chen had already committed a mistake before he could sort of swing at it. But he will probably start his antics, and then Lee Junhui will get really, really annoyed. It's going wide as well.
Oh, I'm surprised he didn't have a swish there, deliberately missing it.
But that's actually nice that he doesn't do it. So.
Yeah, yeah.
Wait. If you're going to play defense against Kevin and Marcus, then you're going to lift high. You don't want to lift flat because they will just jump from side to side. So you want to make sure that they can't jump, that they have to jump upwards. This strategy here has no chance of success, in my opinion.
16-6. Service over. 7-16.
Well, a little respite from the onslaught, but surely they've got to rethink how they're going to play this final. The tall men from China. Oh, dear me.
Service over. 17.
Dreadful service error.
Still doesn't beat Yamaguchi.
Do you know, I was just thinking that. Poor Yamaguchi, she's such a nice lady.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Service over. 8-17. Service over.
Yeah, well taken. Well, quite frankly, the tactics by Li Chunhui and Liu Chen are so badly wrong, but it's getting to the stage where it looks as if they're not even interested. That
if it had been two pairs from the same country, all people would be talking about they don't want to win.
Yeah.
That is over.
But I mean, it's still challenging for Li and Liu because they never play like this.
No.
So suddenly starting to do it could cause all kinds of problems, and it has done here in the first game. So what happens when they're on this near side of the court, where it's a little bit more difficult for the Indonesians to kill the shuttle.
Don't have to squeeze it, change the shuttle.
So it looks a little bit like they're sort of unfocused, and sometimes when you ask people to do something that they're not really used to, sometimes if you ask players to play a little bit more patient, they play way too patient and never hit a smash, always clear and lift. And that is, of course, patient. That's just not going to win you anything.
Not a service error.
Time is over.
So it's game point opportunities
Game point 11.
for the world #1s and defending champions. In just 14 minutes.
First game won by Marcus Fernando GIDEON, Kevin Sanjaya SUKAMULJO, 21-11.
Well, the match clock has actually just ticked over the 15-minute mark. But either way, this is certainly not what I had expected. 21-11, double quick time. Did you follow any of the US Open tennis, Steve?
No, not really, only glimpses of it.
There was a match with Nick Kyrgios of Australia, and in tennis, if a player isn't trying 100%, they call it tanking. The umpire got down from his chair and gave him a bit of a pep talk, which was quite an extraordinary thing to happen. But I hope that the coach, Chen Qichu, is giving his players a bit of a talk and saying, that obviously didn't work. The tactics we have discussed, we have to change, because that is getting us nowhere. We're allowing the coaches down on the court with us.
Yeah, that's not allowed in tennis.
No.
In most tournaments, only the team tournaments, right?
The women's tour, WTA.
Okay.
Which is why it's strange in Grand Slams that they're not allowed coaching, when the rest of the tour they are allowed coaches. But anyway, let's hope for a more fired up a more purposeful
Second game.
performance from Lee Chun-Hui and Liu Chen here in this second game.
Play. Service over. 1-0.
Perhaps that low serve is an indication as to why he's been flicking.
Yeah.
Because that was far too loose. And maybe since the change of regulation on the serve and the fixed height,
2-0.
Yeah, I mean,
that maybe just thrown him out of his...
That's of course a great illustration of how lopsided the rule is, that previously these four players should serve according to their
3-2.
body physicality. Now they have to serve all four below 115 centimeters. So you could say that, yeah, but the court has also got the same meshes, and that means that the taller ones can cover it a little bit better and stuff like that. And that's true, but there's some certain things that you're good at, and then there's other things that are a little bit more difficult. When you're a tall player, same as if you're a shorter player, there's things that you're really good at and things that are more difficult. It's like changing a rule suddenly went from... It's a great rally here.
This is much better from the Chinese pair. Good to see. They may have lost the rally, but certainly more urgency in their style.
It seems like they're not mentally there, Lee and Liu. Especially Lee, it seems like he's heading for the beach. They're not trying anything on the service returns, just lifting from the beginning.
Service over. 3-5.
And, I mean, they have a little bit better chance of doing it from this near side of the court. Should be a little bit more difficult for the Indonesians to penetrate.
Play.
Three service errors now from Lee Chun-Hui.
He's got some strapping around his wrist. I thought it was a wristband, but I think it's some kind of strapping. I don't know.
6-3.
That affects him. acceleration or lack of acceleration there was there on Liu Chen when he was starting for that right-hand corner there.
Quite clearly the longest rally of the match so far. Missed it. Yeah, and even after winning that rally, Li Junhui lumbering across the court.
5-6.
Well, it's called in.
Challenges called
So the
in.
challenge has come from the Indonesians. Yeah, did catch the line.
Challenge
Line
unsuccessful.
judge.
One challenge remaining. Service over. 6-all. Play.
Yeah, it doesn't look himself today at all, does he?
No. Much more positive rally from a Chinese perspective.
6 of the last 7 points. Look where his defensive position was. He was straddling the double service line.
Yeah.
You can't be that deep in court.
7-8.
No wonder the shuttle landed in front of him. Nice challenge here.
Challenges called out.
I think that's probably fairly optimistic, as the shuttle wasn't a smash, it wasn't skidding along the ground. I'd be surprised if the line judge made an error.
Yeah, they should be able to get this right.
Yeah, the line judge was right.
Challenge unsuccessful. One challenge remaining. 8-all. Play.
I get the impression that the energy is not there with Lee and Liu to play any other style than the one they're playing right now.
Oh, I don't believe he played that when he was sitting on the floor. Save by Marcus Finaldi Gideon. Watch this. And he plays a perfect defensive shot. Well, that would be very demoralising for their opponents.
That is over. 9, 10.
He's playing well.
That is over.
Gideon.
11-9 interval.
So it's a 2-point advantage. Won the opening game, the defending champions. Game interval in the second game, we've only played 28 minutes.
That's not so extraordinary when Gideon and SUKAMULJO is involved, but it's extraordinary in this arena here.
Yeah.
I read that he's going to be a father soon, Marcus Gideon, 5 months' time.
Oh, that's lovely news.
11-9. Play.
Why isn't he attacking that low serve?
Just lifting.
It's
it
just
seems like they
tactic.
can't. Yeah, or maybe there's no more energy left.
12-9.
At least he's not making any errors on the service returns, but giving away the initiative. There's some possibilities in low services from the Indonesians, in my opinion.
Rally.
That last shot there, what was that? I mean,
yeah, well, I don't have an answer for you, Steve.
It's like he was trying to hit it in the middle of the net. If he couldn't hit his opponent, that's how I interpret it.
Nine.
8 of the last 9 points now to the Indonesians. The flick serve.
Serve is over. 10-14.
Nice. Nice manoeuvre. The attack on GIDEON across the body, because he plays the most peculiar on that cross court when he's in the left-hand side of the court. His defensive shot there, I mean, he's very effective, but it looks most peculiar. It's like a forehand action, but with backhand grip. Fault receiver. That's 1 foot. Fault receiver called on each of the pairs. Very nice to see that again. Here we go. Oh no, wow.
It's exactly the problem that when you, even this isn't slow, if you go frame by frame.
Yeah.
Service fault called. Too high.
Oh, now it's a service
Service
fault.
over.
That's one server's fault apiece now.
15-12.
At least that last shot with the broken racket, and I suspect it was 2 shots with a broken racket.
And we've focused on Lee and LIU, but I think we have to mention that Kevin and Marcus, they're playing absolutely brilliant in their attack.
Absolutely, I concur.
They have at no point seemed as if they were going to sort of resign and play clears and stuff like that. They play clever. Yeah, it's gone. It's gone.
He's got a new racket. He's back on.
Yeah. It was more than enough to have Kevin on the court. If his string had gone also, they would have been in trouble, but
there's that funny defense again.
Yeah.
It's a forehand defense with a backhand grip, so it's
and a really twisted wrist.
No, we've had some much better rallies in this second game, but I'm still bewildered by the tactics of Li Junhui and Li Chen.
I don't think they have the energy. I don't think they have energy to get on the attack.
New racket. 17-12.
I mean, if they had, they should have changed a long time ago.
Yeah.
This time he didn't lift.
Well taken at the net from GIDEON.
18-12.
Well, his 30th career final today, Marcus Fernaldi GIDEON. He's looking very, very good.
That is over. 13-18.
Fully fit.
Yeah,
whether he's ill or
yeah,
19,
definitely a possibility.
Yeah, Li Junhui, because he really is not himself today. So 2 points away from a second consecutive title here for GIDEON and What a serve, that's terrific. And Lee Junhui left stranded. Didn't even move for that. There's definitely something wrong with the tall man.
20, match point,
But that's
13.
to take nothing away, as Steen was saying, because it's match point opportunities for the world number ones. And they've done it. They've retained their title. Marcos Ronaldo Gideon and Kevin Sanjaya SUKAMULJO win a second consecutive Daihatsu Yonex Japan Open title with victory over the world champions Li
Match
Junhui
won by
and
Marcos
Liu
Ronaldo
Chen.
Gideon, Kevin Sanjaya SUKAMULJO, 21-11, 21-13.
21-11, 21-13 confirms the umpire in a match lasting 38 minutes. And the Indonesian fans celebrate here in Tokyo. Well, you were very right to praise the Indonesian team because they did play outstandingly well, but
ダイハツヨネックスジャパンオープン2018今大会最後の種目です。男子ダブルス制しましたインドネシアのマルクス・ギデオン選手、ケビン・スカムリオ選手です。日本での大会となりましたが、ものすごい歓声聞こえましたね。いかがでしたか？
So I'll give you the men's doubles champion in Daihatsu Yonex Japan Open 2018. Marcos Fernandez Gideon and Kevin Sanjaya SUKAMULJO. So I heard a lot of fans cheering for you. How do you feel about it?
Ya pastinya saya sangat senang ya bermain di sini. Supporter Indonesia sangat luar biasa, selalu mendukung kita. Saya seperti bermain di Istora.
非常に嬉しかったです。インドネシアのファンってすごいですよね。僕たちインドネシアの大きなイストラという体育館にいるのかと勘違いするようなたくさんの大きな応援をいただきました。
I was very, very happy. It's amazing how Indonesian fans are enthusiastic about this. I felt as if I'm back in Indonesia.
この先続くツアーに向けて次はどんな戦い見せてくれますか？
So I know you're going to continue on your tour. So what's your game plan for the onward?
Ya pasti kita akan usaha lakuin yang terbaik di setiap turnamen karena kita nggak mau sia-siain setiap kesempatan yang ada sih.
はい、どの大会でも絶対にチャンスは無駄にしません。一つ一つしっかりと戦っていきたいと思っています。
In any games, I'm not going to waste any chance. So I'm going to continue to nail one by one.
見事男子ダブルス優勝しましたインドネシアマルクス・ギデオン選手、ケビン・スカムリオ選手でした。おめでとうございます。
So once again, congratulations to men's doubles champion Marcos Gideon and Kevin SUKAMULJO.
Thoroughly deserved the title. And certainly the way they played in today's final. Marcos Ronaldo Gideon and Kevin Sanjaya SUKAMULJO. Confirmation that it was just 38 minutes for the 21-11, 21-13 victory. As they get ready for the prize presentation and we look at the final rally once again. Of course, there's another two tournaments in the next 2 weeks as part of the HSBC BWF World Tour. Tour moves on next week to Chengdu in China. Super 1000 event. And then the following week in Korea. So there were some big surprises in the men's doubles though early on by quarterfinals. Only 2 seats left, Steen. Were you surprised by that?
Yeah, I was actually a little bit surprised. I think Denmark had 3 seats, and I would have expected them to do a little bit better since they have not been participating in the Asian Games, but lost early in the tournament.
Runners up.
So the big finalists, the world champions Li Junhui and Liu Chen, step forward onto the podium. But the champions once again as indeed they were a year ago. Marcus Fernaldi Gideon and Kevin Sanjaya Sukamuljo.
それでは公益財団法人日本バドミントン協会関根義雄副会長よりまず準優勝の銀メダルが贈られます。
The silver medals are presented to the runner-up by Mr. Yoshio Sekine, who is the Vice President of Nippon Badminton Association.
Sukamuljo and Gideon that they've won in the Olympic arena.
Yeah.
The runner-up earns a prize money of $24,500 US.
次に優勝の
Yes, they
金メダルが
received
贈られ
their
ます。
gold medals,
The gold
their
medals
sixth
are now presented to the
title
winners.
this year. Six finals, six titles. That's not at all bad, is it?
続いて優勝プレートの贈呈です。
Next is the winner's plate.
さあそして最後に優勝を決めましたウイニングシャトルが2人に贈られます。
And at last, this is the winning shuttle.
優勝賞金は
It's a nice touch
51,800
having
ドルで
the
す。
winning shuttle.
The winner earns a prize money of $51,800 US.
パワー、スピード、テクニックどれをとっても本当に素晴らしい男子ダブルスらしい試合でした。選手にどうぞ今一度大きな拍手をお願いいたします。
Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes the ceremony. For the powerhouse and the skill house, please give a big round of
The
applause.
Indonesians backing up their Asian Games gold medal with a win here in Tokyo. Look at that, that's extraordinary. The Chinese players, even on the lower part of the podium, are still taller than their opponents. Yes. Good tournament for Gideon and Sukamuljo. Sixth title in only 9 tournaments.
That was one of the things that we were looking forward to see. How would they react now that they finally got that big medal, the gold medal in Asian Games, and so far they reacted really well.
Yes, yeah. So as they pose for the photographers, final of the day, probably the women's singles, that only one that went to 3 games.
Yeah. First game in the mixed doubles was really good.
Yeah. We've had a terrific week here actually in Tokyo, in this wonderful arena that will be the venue for the Olympic Games in 2020. But here is what has happened today at the Daihatsu Yonex Japan Open for 2018. It all started with men's singles, and the world champion Kento Momota made history, becoming the first player from the host nation to win the men's singles title here at the Japan Open. Straight game victory over Petradub of Thailand. Then it was second success for home players in the second final, the women's doubles. The world number ones, Yuki Fukushima and Sayaka Hirota, too good for the former world number ones, Chen Cheng and Jia Yifan. But look at that, 57 minutes for the 2-game victory. Chen Shiwei and Wang Yaxiong, it was a second Japan Open title for Chen Shiwei 2 years after he won with Chen Qingchen, now with his new partner Wang Yaxiong, beating last year's champions Wang Yilu and Wang Dongping in 2 straight games. Carolina Marin, despite being a game and 17-16 up in the second, went the full distance against the former champion and former world champion Nozomi Okuhara, but the reigning world and Olympic champion successfully defended her title here at the Japan Open. Carolina Marin winning through in 3 games. And then, as we've just witnessed in the men's doubles, another retained title for Gideon and Sukamuljo. The world number ones defeating the world champions Li Chunhui and Lin Chen CHN in 2 straight games. Of course, the tour moves on to Changzhou in China next week. It's a Super 1000 event. I very much hope you will be able to join us from China, but in the meantime, from all of us here in Tokyo, especially from Steen Peterson and myself, Jill Clark, we'll see you next week. Bye for now.